when the Galactic Empire hanged women on a live broadcast, the stars themselves seemed to recoil. It was meant to be a lesson, a display of dominance from an empire that had long believed fear was its most effective weapon. The scene unfolded across every controlled sector. Women, innocent, unarmed civilians, suspended under the harsh glow of alien spotlights, their final breaths cut short by the decree of tyrants who thought cruelty would bend humanity to its knees. The Empire believed it was showing power. What it actually showed was its greatest mistake, because humanity had suffered before. They had endured pogroms, genocides, inquisitions, and wars so bloody that entire generations carried scars in their bones. But through it all, one lesson remained. Humans do not forgive atrocities against their own. When the broadcast ended, silence filled Earth. Not a quiet of submission, but the kind of silence that comes before a storm. Governments, fractured and quarrelsome as always, spoke with one voice for the first time in centuries. The message was simple: unleash them. The them were not politicians, not diplomats, not even conventional soldiers. They were the Ruthless War Soldiers, an unspoken chapter in human military history. Their existence was rumor, whispered even among the highest councils. They were not bred but forged, humans who had trained their entire lives in the arts of asymmetric war, psychological devastation, and sheer brutality. They were kept caged, restrained by layers of morality and law, because to release them was to declare not war, but annihilation. Their unit name was never spoken aloud. To the rest of humanity, they were only known by a single word: shadows. The shadows did not march in parades. They did not wear medals or ranks. They carried no flags, sang no anthems. They existed solely to remind the galaxy what happened when the line was crossed. That night, as humanity's leaders replayed the execution broadcast again and again, they signed the order. The shadows were unleashed. The first system to fall was Corvath, the staging ground from which the Empire had streamed its sickening display. The Empire had expected retaliation, of course. They anticipated a fleet, grand, visible, full of warships burning brightly against the black. Instead, what arrived was silence. On the orbital monitors, one by one, the lights of the outer defense platforms blinked out. No alarms, no battles. Just silence. By the time the garrison commander realized what was happening, the shadows were already inside the Citadel. Security footage captured fragments. Figures moving faster than sight, weapons that hum with quiet precision, and eyes, human eyes, that glow with an emptiness the galaxy had never seen before. The last transmission from Corvath was a single word written in human script, painted in blood across the command throne: recompense. Across the galaxy, panic spread to the Empire's hierarchy. They had faced rebellions before, worlds that rioted, insurgents who fought from caves and shadows. But this was different. Entire garrisons disappeared without a sound. Supply convoys never arrived. Governors who had ruled for centuries vanished in their own palaces, their heads found mounted on the gates of their cities. No declarations came. No negotiations. Only the relentless, methodical destruction of every symbol of empire. Civilians spoke in hushed tones about the ruthless ones. Even alien slaves, long broken by imperial cruelty, whispered prayers to these unseen humans. For the first time, the galaxy dared a hope. One survivor of a destroyed fleet managed to transmit a fragment account. They do not fight like soldiers. They fight like predators. They wait, they watch, and then they strike where it hurts most. I saw one man carve through 10 of us in the void. He did not scream, did not speak. Only his eyes, as if he were already dead. The Empire, enraged, escalated. Worlds were threatened with orbital bombardment if they harbored humans. Yet every bombardment was intercepted. Entire battleships vanished in the void. Their crews never heard from again. The shadows didn't merely fight battles. They dismantled the Empire's very soul. They hacked broadcasts and forced the galaxy to watch as captured governors confessed atrocities. They revealed archives of crimes the Empire had buried for millennia, and always behind it, the memory of those hanged women remained, a fire in every human's heart. On Earth, the footage was replayed daily, not to mourn but to remind. The shadows were not fighting for conquest. They were fighting for vengeance. In the great chamber, the Emperor himself, whispers of fear grew. For the first time in 1,000 years, the ruler of the galaxy did not feel safe on his throne. "They are humans," one advisor hissed. "A death world species. We warned you not to provoke them." The Emperor sneered. "They are primitives. Their fleets cannot stand against ours." But even as he spoke, the Emperor's own chamber lights flickered. Shadows moved in the corners. And for the briefest moment, he swore he saw a pair of human eyes watching from the dark. Months bled into years, and the war changed the galaxy forever. Planets once enslaved rose in rebellion, emboldened by humanity's ferocity. Species that had cowered under the Empire's boot now marched alongside human guerrillas. But the true terror always came when the shadows arrived. They never announced themselves. Cities simply woke up to find imperial banners burning, their overlords gone, and on the walls, painted in ash, the mark of humanity's vengeance. By then, even the word human carried a weight heavier than any weapon. To the oppressed, it meant salvation. To the Empire, it meant doom. The final blow came not with fleets or armies, but with a message. Across the galaxy, every channel flickered to life. The screen showed not politicians or generals, but one of the shadows. His face was hidden behind a visor, his voice low and cold. "You hanged our women," he said. "You thought it would break us. Instead, you woke us. And now, you will learn the one truth of humanity. We do not forgive. We do not forget. We are the storm you cannot outrun." Then the broadcast cut, leaving only silence. Within weeks, the Emperor's palace burned. The Empire crumbled, not in glorious battles, but in 1,000 precise strikes, each one carried out with ruthless efficiency. In the aftermath, when the galaxy tried to rebuild, many asked who the shadows truly were. They searched records, archives, and testimonies. But nothing remained. The shadows vanished as suddenly as they had appeared, returning to the silence from which they came. Some said they were still out there, waiting, watching, ready to rise again should humanity ever be wronged. Others whispered that they were not men at all, but vengeance made flesh. On Earth, no one spoke of them. Families carried on. Children laughed again, and the memory of the hanged women was honored with quiet dignity. But deep in the night, when stars burned bright and the wind carried whispers, some swore they heard footsteps in the dark. Reminders that humanity's ruthless war soldiers never truly disappeared. They only waited, and should the galaxy ever forget, they would rise again. Because the Empire had made one mistake, one that echoed through history. They thought hanging women would break humanity. Instead, it unleashed a storm. And storms, once born, cannot be chained.